Welcome to the Barber Union.
Barber Union.
I'm one of the hosts, William Alfred.
Sly Handy.
Sly Handy on, I can't even say it's on some, some Batman and Robin stuff. It's more like Batman and Superman.
All day.
It's more like Iron Man and Captain America. We got we're on the same team, different powers that we're bringing to the table. We're going to address some things, and we're going to move like that. But we're out for this is like the Barber Justice League in a sense.
Definitely Justice League.
So Sly, won't you tell the world about yourself?
I've been a barber for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you go back to high school.
Listen.
You know what I mean? Who would know this?
Winslow, back in the Winslow days.
All day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, my life, I worked a few jobs, used to cut around in the neighborhood.
Right.
Right. $5 type thing.
Yeah.
$10, and I never took it that serious at that time.
What gave you that initial? What gave you that initial that initial punch where you like, you know what? I think I want to do this. I think I want to pick up some clippers and start cutting hair.
Honestly, me cutting at like 16 years old, wasn't even thinking about that. People wanted me to cut their hair here and there. I was just doing shape ups and stuff like that. But when I started years going down the line, when I was in my 20s, graduated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always getting in trouble in the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had a good job at Sony Music Entertainment, making CDs and DVD movies and stuff like that. Yeah. Did that 11 years, had my own little room, grew up, man. It was around some senior people that educated my brain.
Yeah.
And then they ended up moving to Mexico. And next thing you know, they moved to Mexico for cheaper labor.
Right.
And they gave me a TRA plan that said everybody go to school.
Yeah.
For free pretty much.
Nice.
So I didn't know what I was going to do. I was on unemployment for 2 years, didn't do nothing, hanging around.
Right.
I'm still young, I'm 28, 29 or whatever.
Yeah.
So 2013, I decided to go to Kamatati school because it was down the street from my crib, Empire Beauty School.
Mm-hmm.
Took that up, I got paid while I was in school. As long as I kept maintaining the C average, you know what I'm saying, I can keep getting the money.
Yeah.
And go to school. So I did that, and I was, more successful than I thought I was.
Now I want to slide back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I feel like whenever, I believe that who we are now is like little portions. It's like little pieces of the puzzle that came together to make us up like who we are now.
Absolutely.
So let's go back. Let's go back a decade or so. The Sony music thing. Because I know for me, I was always a big music fan. So as soon as you said music, I'm just like, oh shoot, what? And what? What was you doing? Far as the music thing, just to give a little.
I was making. We supplied the East Coast.
Okay.
And we made the top artists: Michael Jackson, Jay-Z.
This
Beyonce.
is like printing stuff up, printing the CDs.
Everything was made there from scratch.
Okay.
In Pittman, New Jersey was the main office.
So you was into manufacturing and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we made the CDs. So I was making the CDs from scratch.
Wow.
And putting the information on there and burning them off of mother stampers.
Remind me of disc makers a little bit. Was that connected?
We was the bigger disc makers.
Okay.
At Pennsauken. That's where a lot of us left to when they closed. They went there, but we was way more advanced. We had robots and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, man. Because like I used to do my music thing, and disc makers was I thought that was the spot where you would, that was like the Rome at the time in my area for getting stuff printed up and everything. So that's funny, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We did all the big artists.
Yeah.
Packaged it, everything was done, shipped from there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
And I started becoming a printer. I printed the images on it, all the PlayStation games from any PlayStation game was done there. So we had first dibs.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that's what we did. And
right.
I had my own room and was a printer, screen maker. I made the screens for them. Had my own room for the last 5 years of that.
Yeah.
and then they closed.
But in this frame, in this portion of your life, did you see yourself like involving yourself with barbering at all at this point?
No. It happened when we closed up, and I was on unemployment, and the people in my new neighborhood I was living in Lindenwold.
Okay.
They I had 2 pairs of clippers, had family who said come over.
So you were still doing some stuff on it, like
yeah, they
let me
I'm like,
shape
you
you
know, I
up
could
and all
shape that up, man. I wasn't doing no fades.
Right,
I was just like, I could shape you up. I could do this. I could do that.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And my aunt used to say, my mom's sister used to say, like, why don't you go to school for this? But I never thought there was any money in it.
Right.
I never thought. I thought it was like just some old side house type thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Not a career. So I never went that way.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So like, all right, going back to when you signed up for cosmetology school, right? When you decided to get into cosmetology school, did you see yourself like when you signed up and everything? Or I put it like this, right? Because I just want to. I just want to see if our foundations matched up a little bit. You know what I mean? When you signed up for cosmetology school, what was the expectation that you had when you signed up? When you went in there and signed the pay, and because I know first they sent to put you on a tour.
Yeah.
Right? You went through the school and then this and that. What was your expectations right away? Like, okay, this is cosmetology school. Was it like, were they like on some like, because I know you probably said, I want to be a barber. Right? Or was you like, I want to be a stylist?
Nah, actually, I was a style. I was into the female hair.
Oh,
I wasn't
interesting.
doing male hair.
First
like
influence, or from the school, or just, or
from
you already
the school?
had...
The first influence was women.
Okay.
I was good at doing female hair.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh man. I had the student educators award, and I had for the region, for our region, I have that award. Whereas like they only pick one out of all the schools in the state.
Okay.
And then they take all the ones in each 3 regions to like Hershey to actually be a part of their little program that they had.
Okay.
And all the teachers actually chose me to actually represent our region, our southern region. So I have actually had that award, and that was off of women hair because, I had a couple girls that was in the classroom that was pretty talented. A lot of girls from the street. They, moms had salons. They can't work with their moms. They just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I learned from them. You know what I'm saying? And really, me and my boy went to cosmetology school because we was hanging out in the barbershops. And they said, yo, man, you guys hanging out in the barbershop all the time.
Yeah. You might as well.
You might as well do this because we had our friends was there. Sicklerville was like, nothing but barbers, KB and other barbers.
Shout out to KB. Shout out to KB.
Dave Johnson, all these dudes from Brothers Barbershop, man. They was on platform billboards winning all the competitions.
Yeah.
We grew up with those dudes.
They was like, in a sense, like a Rome in the neighborhood. They was they was like at the top of the hill right there. Yeah.
Big shout out to Earl. All them brothers back in the day.
I knew Earl.
RJ.
I knew Earl from... we're going back to the early 90s.
Yes.
When I don't know if you remember Lee DeRamus.
Yeah,
that's where I was like sweeping the hair on the floor. And Earl used to be one of the barbers in the shop. So just to watch him rise up and go in the direction he did, I'm just sitting here like, dag, I remember. You know what I mean? When all these cats was piled up in one barbershop.
Yep.
And they spanned it out,
Darren and Cultures, all of them. There's KB, a lot of barbers.
Like me and KB used to work at McDonald's together, and we were sitting there like frisbeeing burgers at each other. Like who known? Like KB, went to the platform he did. This dude judging hair shows. I went to a hair show with him one day, and they was treating this joker like he was Jay-Z.
Yeah,
they people walking up handing him stuff, and I'm trying to stand closer to him. Like, hey, can I get something too? I'm down with this guy. You know what I mean?
KB he was my barber, and we knew each other from high school.
Right.
We double dated on the prom together. You know what I mean?
Wow.
We go back then.
Yeah.
So.
And me and you would be passing each other like in the hallways, like, yo, what's up? Just that brotherhood, what's up and everything. But so you went into cosmetology school. Boom, you're getting awards and stuff. You're doing your thing. What made you curve your direction into barbering?
Well, a lot of the salons wanted me to work with them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? some of the barbers was like, well, like he's got the ethics that is like consistent. So they're like, like you come over here and be a barber. But to me, I'm like, yo, I'm learning this female hair stuff like that.
Right.
I'm not in the phase like that, but I'm sharp with the hands, with the clippers and stuff.
Right.
So it's like my old barber, Van that used to work with Extravagant.
Yeah, Big Van. Shout out to Big Van. Shout out to Big Van.
And, Rondell and them brothers over, and they was connected with all them brothers in Sicklerville. Yeah. It's like this is a small world.
Small world.
And I'm getting cut out Lindenwold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I found out that he had a shop. Mm-hmm. So I would go there and visit him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, so I'll put you on. And, he was booming, 15, 18 barbers in there. Like, he was killing it, man.
Yeah.
Definitely learned a lot, dealing with, Big Van. So, you know what I'm saying? But I still didn't know where I was at yet because I was really just, in there, getting paid,
right,
and being in school. But I'm a type of person that from Sony that, they structured me to be disciplined.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They were very disciplined. There was a lot of engineers in there. Everything's about numbers. Big managers and bosses used like flying in from Canada.
That's
and
what I was
Europe
talking about earlier,
that.
like a piece of the puzzle that made you into who you are today. That had some type of influence, like even back then. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but go ahead.
I cut some of those managers now still today. I just cut the other day.
Wow.
My top managing print manager, supervisor, I cut him yesterday. And he doesn't work there no more. He has a different job because, of course, it moved. But a lot of those people that's in there, I cut their hair still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of that structured me from there. But when I graduated there, they offered me a scholarship to be a teacher educator.
Okay. You mean at the hair school?
Like back to back. Like it was like you graduated like, yo, man, like he has time, like he's in here. Like I had a 99.9, attendance rating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was in there, had nail certificates and all that. So I was, more of a cosmetologist than just like, oh, I'm going to be a barber, because I still didn't know what I was going to be at that time.
Right.
Like I do know some brothers shout out to my man Khalid, absolute fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was a guy that I seen
in the building.
Another one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Khalid.
Khalid, big dog. Like right now, he's doing good. Got restaurant stuff like that.
Right.
And I looked at him because he was just right before me, and I was like, wow, like he tried to barber and certain things like that. Like he was managers at different shops. KB's his barber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see him, and I'm like,
me and you was surrounded by people that represented entrepreneurship. That was like, not, but also loving, the art of barbering and cosmetology. You know what I mean? At this point, like people was loving it. Like, yo, I love the art.
Yeah.
But I believe it wound up transforming also, or not transforming, but more like more like evolving into like, that's good. You enjoy the art, but also making it into a business as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like in these days it have to be hand in hand. It have to be like, okay, you can enjoy the art, but it has to be lucrative. Yeah. It can't just, you're not a street artist where you're just living off of some crumbs and hoping like, we got families.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wives and kids, girlfriends and kids and all that. Like, how are we going to supply, not just provide for ourselves, but if we decide to take on a family, how are we going to, provide for them as well? So that's where entrepreneurship plays a part in. It's not entrepreneur, it's art, business, and also being like, it's responsibility. Like, okay, if you're going to take on this stuff, you have to be responsible for it as well. But I'm sorry, you so you're linking up with you're going into the education field now.
Yeah, they because I still was like, in the street a little bit and stuff. I ended up losing everything, almost had no car and everything. So it was like transportation was funny and everything.
Yeah.
I was sacrificing,
Okay,
so with my dudes, I didn't have my own spot and stuff like that running around.
Right.
So, I did that, and Van at Extravagant gave me a shot over there. It was tough. Because it was a lot of sharks in there, man. Like they was all good.
Yes,
like,
sir. Yes, sir.
I thought, my demo person thought that I was that good.
Mm-hmm.
I was nowhere near what they was on in that shop.
Right, right.
And I sucked it up and went in there and learned from the best that was in there.
Did you feel any type of intimidation, like when you started in there? Like,
Well,
did you look around and was like, "Oh shoot, I got these sharks around me," Because also what comes along with, unfortunately, sometimes, I'm not gonna say all the time, but sometimes like that competition is there too amongst barbers. You know what I mean? Like me and you are representing the barbers union here. We're representing two, like-minded barbers with two different streets, like coming together. But it's easy in the barber world to be competitive.
yes.
Did you feel like that was like overcasting you in a way, or
Well, I'm be honest, like everything's always like some type of intimidation, no matter what you kind of go into, really. Because in my world, me growing up, it was always a competition with
Right.
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was used to just being okay with losing and learning.
Okay.
I was always like okay with that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like even with the Kamataji school, you
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? Like I could mess up things and
Yeah.
things will happen or whatever, but I learned from the mistakes. It was okay.
Right, right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm always that start from the bottom, now I'm here type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That I'm always like, okay, yeah, but you're gonna see me. I'm not gonna give up. Like so, going into there was the same atmosphere. It was like bands should say, don't worry about it. I failed my Kamataji test like 7 times.
Get out of here.
Failed the practical a couple times.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
teacher, the teacher one took me about 4 years to do it.
Right,
Then I
right.
got it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
I never stop
But
whatever I'm doing.
and that's the key. Yeah, that's a major key right there. Like, I think the way how people are viewing things now in the modern, talking about now, they're viewing challenges at like, okay, if it don't work, then that's it. You move on to something else.
Right. That's
You know
what
what
it
I'm
is.
saying? So, that's good to hear that. Hey, look, I took the L a few times, but I still kept going.
Yeah.
And me myself, I failed my cosmetology test the first time I took it. I felt a little depression, and back then we didn't have like cell phones or nothing, right? So I remember, I felt this thing, and I was just like, oh shoot! Shout out to, Mr. Owen, my first employer, you know what I mean,
okay.
in the barber world. But he was like, yo, you better pass this test or else. You better get your stuff together if you want to work here. So when I failed my test, I went into my apartment and I was like, shoot, man, like I gotta, I don't know. I'm sitting here processing stuff like, how did I fail? What did I do? I thought I did everything right.
Right.
Man, and my boys came over. They was knocking on my door like, because, mind you, back then we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to go out that night. So they like banging on the door like, yo, Will, we know you there. We see your car.
And you ain't come out.
I ain't answer the door or nothing. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, yo, man, I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. And I'm not that dude in the barbershop. You know what I mean? I'm still learning and, I'm sitting under these cats. I'm watching, shout out to Philly Styles, More Than Cuts, L and Ron and Mac.
Yep, good dudes. Good dudes.
I'm watching Mac. He's a left-handed barber. I'm watching the rest of the bar, and I'm learning every little, I'm shadowing them. Mr. O, like when I first started working for Philly Styles, I was setting my clippers down, and I was just like, and he was like, yo, what do you think you're doing? And I was like, yo, I got, I'm in hair school, man. I'm ready to do my thing, man. I'm good. He was like, nah, I want you to watch all these barbers, shadow all of them. And then, and I was sitting under these cats for like maybe, a couple months. And then before he even let me on one head, he was like, yo, you got to cut my hair first.
Yeah.
It took like 2 days to cut this man's hair. You know what I mean? Because he had this shaped head where it's like when you hit this parietal section and everything, the whole course changes up with the fade. So the barbers are hovering over me. Like, nah, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to change your guard up and you got to do this. I was stuck. And then it's back to the drawing board again. Like, yo, I got to shadow these barbers and figure out like how to get this fade, And so I've already had the pressure of like, shoot, I'm not sharp like that with the clippers. And I'm in the middle of getting my credentials straight, So it's like I gotta get this.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so
It's a challenge.
yeah. So it's kind of like you can't. I don't know, just matching up to how the barber society is now. Like we didn't have YouTube and
No,
all
we
that
had
stuff.
none of
We
that.
we just had like, yo, you got shadow cats and you got to get in where you can fit in and hope that you get elected. You know what I mean? To be, to get picked to work in the barbershop was like a big deal back then. You know what I'm saying? So
It was.
yeah.
And that can be a little, scary a little bit,
Right.
intimidating because you like, you come from cosmetology school, never worked into a professional atmosphere. So you like,
Right.
man, this thing's getting ready. This is I feel like I'm on a platform. First you thinking like, yeah, I could go in there and cut. This is regular.
Yeah.
You going in on the platform, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's watching you. You got other bar, like
you're on the stage.
You're on the stage now.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like, when I was in cosmetology school, right? I was just finishing, right? I remember getting my clippers fixed, right? We still had the wires on them and everything, got the Andes and stuff.
We didn't have Amazon back then.
No.
We couldn't just jump on Amazon and order another pair of clippers and had them there in 2 days. It's like you was on Front Street, you was on stage performing, and if something went wrong, you had to fix that clipper. Hold on a second.
Yes.
Hold on, my man. I got you. Let me
gotta
just
be a mechanic, right?
Listen,
there.
the soldering iron.
Yes.
What? Listen.
And I used to go to Morning Cuts. That's when I first seen you cutting, and you put the lizard on the bull's head. I said, "Yo, what the lizard on the bull's head?" I'm already like, yo, I'm way, but I got to get on that level, because you know what I'm saying? Because what's the name in the back to fix everybody's clippers? What's the guy's name?
Mac. Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah. Shout out to Mac.
We used to give the clippers
South
over there.
Jersey Clipper Repair.
So I would look in there and I'm like, yo, there's barbers in here. You know, they doing anything, boom, boom. Like, where I'm going to go? I live around the corner, boom, boom. But Van used to be my barber, so I knew him. And that's where, where my first shop was at. I never worked in this shop.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It's funny with the lizard story, though. But I think what kind of helped me further, if anything, with cutting hair is, my history of drawing. You know what I mean? Like, I used to draw and doodle and all that, and my brother does do. Shout out to Rob Anthony.
Rob.
But, I and the funny thing, looking back, I feel like I was a big fish in a small pond. I feel like doing designs and stuff kind of got me over back then, because like designs started coming into play, and because I already was drawn, I think that kind of got me a little attention doing that. And back then there wasn't a lot of barbers, like in my area at least, like doing that. You know what I mean? And but now it's like if you look at now, almost everybody, is doing some kind of design work.
Some type of design work, yeah. No matter what it is.
Yeah, just in the barbershop, it's like I can't even say something like is oversaturated. It's just the world. If you want to say that, the whole world is oversaturated. You know what I mean? Like if you go on TikTok and Instagram and all that, and you see like back in the day, you will see a once in a while art. Once in a while you'll see an artist or somebody doing something crazy or something. Now it's like, I don't know what it is, but everybody, it's like the mutants, like from X-Men, like everybody possess some type of like gifting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, you do lizards, so do
I.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But back in the day, it was like it was like a once in a while type, like one every 10 person you see, like doing that. So I think with that being said, like, along with everybody having this new gift and ability, and abilities to, get blurry fades and do all this stuff that you didn't see before. I think it kind of like, and correct me, I stand to be corrected, but do you think it kind of dulled down?
Of course. Yeah.
I guess the frame of what barbering is, where people don't take it as serious now. And it's like, just like with basketball, everybody's in AAU. Everybody's like, can handle the ball. Everybody could dribble more than back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a common thing. Like, oh, you don't do this. If you're a barber, oh, you don't do this or you do that. But do you think that along with that, like it's a lot of disrespectful stuff that come along with it?
Oh yeah.
Like the appreciation isn't there.
Oh man.
Just the humility in it. The stuff that me and you went through. Shadowing and all that. I remember like when I first started, I was straight shining shoes. I was like on my knees, like sitting there shammying, people's shoes and stuff like that, running errands for the barbers. You know what I mean? Going out and getting food and stuff, and sometimes the food spilling on me on the way back to the shop. So I got that gravy stain on my shirt, like for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Like sitting there, like do you like the barber today is like, what? You did? It's not me.
They ain't sweeping up your floor. They ain't doing none of that.
Nah.
You know what I mean? They trying like, I'm coming here to get paid. I'm cutting that guy.
Right.
You like, wait a minute.
I'm starting me immediately.
Yeah.
You want me to fold what towels?
Right.
You want me to do what?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? I'm coming here to. I'm bigging up your shop. Yeah. What are some of the things like you as a shop owner?
Okay.
As you as a shop owner, what are some things that you encounter where you're like, you disrespectful? You know what I mean? Like I'm just talking about even on the initial approach of wanting to work.
You know what?
What are some things, I ain't gonna say what's right or wrong,
right?
But what are some things that for you is like a peeve? Like, nah, man. Like, but then at the same time, like, are we messing up because we're comparing what we grew up under to the modern, atmosphere? Like, yo, curve a little bit. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be as strict.
Right.
But is there some stuff that peeve you that's like, no, man, like, your foundations are faulty. You need to change that up.
Yeah. Well, social media definitely plays a big part in all of this. Because a lot of people, like, go on the social medias and they see a lot of these other barbers doing certain things. So they think that they're on an equal level with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like you see some shops now that I see that may just start maybe in different states.
Right.
And they be decked out, man. They be beautiful.
Right.
Chairs shining, floor shining, ceiling black, honeycomb lights.
Yeah.
Right? And the barbers, they admiring that.
Right.
Like the new ones, they're like, yo, that's the shop I want. That's one. But they don't know what it took to get that.
Right.
They don't know nothing that it took to get that. And when they come to your shop, you know what I'm saying? They believe that they on the same level as that person. But yet the work ethics and the professionalism they have not learned. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes on certain things in cutting hair, they haven't learned.
Right.
But they really want to come in there and sell a dream. They want to come in there and like, yo, man, I got mad clients and I got this and I got that. They trying to like trick their way in and all that. And I'm like, you don't have to do all that, bro.
Right.
Like I didn't have to do that. Like a lot of barbers, like back when we started, 15 years ago, whatever, like especially what extravagant, like you definitely got what I got exposed, like day one.
Right.
You would have to be careful on that because you would see like all these dudes, like you would be walking by like, dang, these guys are sharp. Like, wait a minute, like, I want to come and learn. Some of these guys be like, I don't know if I want to come here yet.
Yeah.
I might have to stay at home and cut a little bit.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's like a lot of the shops are not, as being as big sometimes because of COVID and stuff.
Right.
So they're coming in and they're like,
with expectations.
With expectation, like, I'm the man.
Wow.
There's only 3 of us in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope he doesn't get any more people. Like,
right.
Wait a minute, that's not business. That's not how barbershops really run.
Right.
I
know with me, like I got humbled working at Extravagant. Like I went in, like humbled, I said earlier, I was like a big fish in a small pond, if you will. Not discrediting where I was working at, but I felt like I was that dude. I felt like I was that dude well enough to where I was just like, yo, let me go. I need to, because it was, the shop I was working at, it wasn't like a lot of traffic being brought in there. Gotcha. And I just was like, I need to go get somewhere where I know what's happening. And I wound up moving to the Deptford area. I just got married, or I was about to get married, and I moved to the Deptford area. And every time I drive past there, it just looked like it was packed out. And I was like, I need to be in that atmosphere. I walked up in there. I talked to Big Van. I came in there with my iPad. It probably was like, the Generation 3 at the time or something? The early 20s. I had a bunch of, like, the camera quality wasn't all that, but I was ready. I had my resume, all this stuff, and I just was like, yo, here, I have this, I have that, and showing him all this stuff. And I was there, though, to learn or to be in the atmosphere. I won't even say I was there to learn at first. I was there to be in the atmosphere where I could, like start making more money. And I got humbled real quick, man. I was in there and I thought I was the dude, and I was just like, yo, there's plenty of people in here that's like either there was people either beneath me, like my level wise, there was people at my level, and then there was people that was above. And I just was like, and I was promoting myself. I was calling myself Willie Cuts at the time. I was like, yo, I'm Willie Cuts and this and that. Man, listen, I got humbled real quick working under these cats because I thought I was the dude, and it kind of knocked me down a little bit because I was like, yo, I had people complain like, yo, man, this fade is still, it's not blending, you know, because in that shop, it was an expectation, you know, to like, yo, man, you gotta come sharp. You gotta come like legit. You can't just come with no just get by fade. You know, people wanted to fade that where they walk out, you got an extravagant cut. You must have got cut at a yeah, they knew. There was a signature on that shop. You know, so with that being said, like, you know, I feel like with today's world, it's kind of like it's hard for me not to compare, you know, because I have to adjust to the times in a way. But I'm like, a part of me feel like it's not fair. You know what I mean? That the struggle that me and you went through, and to these new cats is just they just walk in the shop with their stuff and they feel like the owner owes them. Right. Like how many walk-ins? How many walk-ins? I wouldn't dare to ask nobody that. That's just me. Like I'm like already. First of all, like I looked from afar and seen seen what was coming in the shop. I didn't need to ask. I went in there and like I was on some like yo, let me get up in here. You know. But I feel like nowadays, like I got approached by different young boy barbers coming up, and it's like I said, they act like I owe them or something. You know, like yo, I'm gonna show up at your shop. How many walk-ins you got? And I'm like, boy, please. You know. Yeah. But my wife told me something that was interesting. She was like, and I don't know, maybe I'm just like not paying attention to stuff, what's going on around me and all that. But she was like, ever since 2020. You know, things kind of curved a little bit with people applying for jobs and all that. Like with me, I'm used to like going in person and stuff, like showing up in person.
Absolutely.
Like everything now is like, oh, you put in an online resume and all that stuff. I'm not used to that stuff.
Yeah, me either.
So before you even step to the store, you're making an online approach.
Right.
You know, and then I guess whoever owned the business or whoever's in charge look at your stuff, and then they call you to come in for an interview. Like I'm used to like showing up and then waiting for a call back after that. You know, so I don't know, but I know I kind of got on me a little bit, but with you, like when barbers step to you, like how are you more acceptable to the approach now, or is it like?
Yeah, well,
like do you bring them through a process, or?
Well, I mean, honestly, I do listen to what they got to offer because I always say like, oh, what are you offering to the shop?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're always going to tell me that they got this book and stuff like that. But the moment that they ask me that question about the walk-ins,
right,
I'm already like, you don't have a book. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I let them know like so what you're saying is you don't have a book.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think they go, I have somewhat of a. I'm like listen. So you bringing some people in,
right?
You know, like just be upfront with the whole situation, so I know what I'm working with,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because what they trying to do is, you know, they trying to come to people's shop. They're trying to get the people they want at your place in mind that they want to do their own thing, which everybody has a right to.
Right.
I would love to see any of my barbers build and go to the next level. I like to see prosperity, people building and getting to the next level. Right. But you don't have to like scam or lie your way in. With me.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Because you already know what time it is.
Because I already know.
You already know what's happening. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, same thing with these guys that have been cutting for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? You guys, you know, like again, even with shout out to Big B at Barberos. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's one of the guys that coached me along. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My man Juan.
Shout out to Juan.
Big Juan, you know what I'm saying? So A lot of those dudes, 15 years, thought they was good where they was at. You're only good as your environment is.
Right, right.
And your owner, your boss,
You're
or
only
whatever.
as good as your environment is. Wow.
You're only
Okay.
good as the environment.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So they thinking that because they was good in that environment, when they get over this environment, they think they still did boom, but then they get a rude awakening like, man, these guys just want to hold on.
Right.
I just watched this guy do design whole haircut in like 20 minutes.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was sharp.
Right.
Piped them out, everything, put them on display.
Yeah.
Had a whole video done.
That's a whole nother thing too, being time conscious. You remember you like what we grew up on, you go to the barbershop, you're in there for like
hours.
You're chilling. You know what I mean? Like the TV's on, sports is on, you know, you catching some jewels from the old heads up in there, catching some wisdom and everything.
Yeah.
And
playing chess and all that stuff.
Exactly. And now it's like, look, I made even if they didn't make appointments, I got to be somewhere. Everything is so fast paced moving. We're in like a microwave generation right now. Everything. You know what I mean? Where everything is fast paced, everything is go. So there's no time to absorb anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's something else. You gotta be time conscious of how you cut. You can't be sitting there like, I put it depending on the customer, but you may have somebody waiting, and you got Bruce in there, like in your chair, like me and Bruce go way back. We busting up on like, yo, remember back in the 90s and this and that. You know, we talking, and another guy come in and he's just like staring at you, tapping his foot, like, all right, come on, y'all gotta wrap this up, man. You know what I mean? Like it's like these days, if you want to make money, and if you want to like make a career out of this and everything, you got to be. That's one of the aspects. You have to be time conscious, so I think people aren't thinking about that. They're not really thinking about all these things that come along with the epitome or whatever of being a barber. They're not thinking about everything that comes along with that.
They're thinking about just the cutting and stuff. Like a lot of younger ones that's coming in the field and stuff like that. They're just thinking about like how nice they are and how nice they want to be, right?
Yeah.
But they're not thinking about all the other things that make up that as a barber, as a stylist, or wherever you want to be as a whole.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work right with everybody.
You're right.
Because if they want to own a shop,
some people like that though. Unfortunately, some customers like that. They want to go in the hoo-ha shops where they like, they blowing whatever up in the air and like. And then what they see on social media, you said this before, it's a plague. You know what I mean? It's like a perception of like, you look on social media, you look on Instagram and all that, and you see these they turning up and stuff where they doing like the pranks on the customers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the average like consumer is watching this and thinking that, okay, this is how they get down in the shop.
That's you know how they get down. Yeah,
and some people are like, this is just what I was looking for, because I'm that type of person too. So I'm going to go find. So maybe the expectation is like all the barbershops are like that.
Just like, perfect example. You ever had that client get in your chair and he got a picture for you? And the picture, the dude's all diced up with the black
all
spray
types of colors.
and color.
Yeah.
He's sharp, and they come in, and I have different Caucasian hair and Indian hair, all different hair. And these people looking at the opposite types of hairs and like, give me that fade. And you like, that's not possible.
Right,
don't have, I can give you something close to it.
Unless you color it up at times. Like,
you do know that's dyed up right there, right? Or zinged or whatever. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they see that and they think that they can do that too.
What's the chances of you receiving a picture, like an authentic picture of like, no color enhancements, no, just a regular cut? What's the chances of you getting a picture like that? So do you feel like it's the responsibility of the barber, along with what we learned at school with the client consultation, for them it's their responsibility to explain that. Like, look, this is all types of color enhancements. This is even some cases like they may not have a hairline where it's like real like sharp looking like that picture, but all of a sudden they want a sharp hairline. I had a senior at that, as he was like, I see the haircuts you doing, you throw up on Facebook and all that. He was like, I want that sharp edge going around the ear, and his hairline is kind of like I'm trying to say this respectfully. It's like it's separated. You know what I mean? And so it's like to get that sharp line, you got to have the hair for that.
Yes.
And I feel like maybe we should work like it, or is it like a responsibility for the client consultation, the barber to explain to the client?
Well, that's where it comes back again,
Right.
because that comes back to the professionalism and the skill of the barber,
Right.
and what you learn in those schools.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them that just want to do the hair would just agree to that kind,
Right.
and be like, "Yeah, I got you,"
Right. Right.
and won't go through a consultation. This guy, he don't even know. This guy in his mind is like, yo, I hope he does it like this, man. Like, I'm expecting to see this joint.
Yeah.
And this guy give him a totally different haircut, knowing that he can't give him that just to take that money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it comes a situation, because that barber did not properly consultate this guy to let him know comfortably, like, listen, you know, I know you wanted this, but push him to the mirror and you got to see this, bro. It's not coming down like this.
Right.
I can do it like this, like that, and that, and that.
Yeah.
But what?
Do you feel like you see that a lot though with client consultations?
I see it. I see it. I've even put, in my past experience, put some of my clients in other upcoming barbers' chairs, and I try to explain to that barber what I give him to make his job easier, and they don't even want to hear that. They just like, they're like, okay, let him tell me.
I got this.
But when the client's like, no, he does my hair the way I want to.
Right.
He explains it better than me. I want you to get this right.
Right.
Or get close to it, because no barber gonna cut everybody exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just to shut off right there, that client, he's feeling a little nervous.
Right.
He like, that slide put me in the chair with this
and he
guy.
Probably cocking his eyes back a little bit, looking in the mirror, trying to see like,
Now he's not gonna trust me no more,
right,
on giving someone else that I know that has the ability to do it, but because he lacking consultation skills. Now that I just found out about,
right,
that ain't gonna come out, because what do? They teach people, yo, don't face them to the mirror, don't show this. You know, a lot of salons do that.
I grew up salon stylists, they'll face their client toward the chair.
Yeah,
like even some of these franchise places that cut hair, that
they cut through the mirror sometimes.
Yeah, and for some reason, like I've been brought up on that. Nah, the barber faces the audience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, yeah, you don't have them. I ain't gonna lie. I just recently, and I guess because I don't know if it's the demographic or what, but like the people that I cut, excuse me, the people that I cut, is like they give, for some reason I get a history of them and their experience either in barbershops or their hair, and sometimes I ain't gonna front. It's like, hey man, this is like taking 5 minutes, like for you to. But they'll go through, but that's part of the client consultation.
Yeah.
Like if I get a new customer, it's like, yeah, so I used to go to Bob over in South Philly, and Bob used to do this and do that, and I never, I just like to get up and go. And I'm hearing that and I'm absorbing and processing all that. Okay, this is what this dude likes. This is what he like to do with his hair. This is how he maintenance his hair. This is how his relationship with his previous barber was. And it probably was a good relationship, and he's expecting that from me. Yes, I have to engage with the client. No, I'm not going to have my headphones on. You know what I mean? Like while I'm cutting his hair. No, I'm not going to have the music and the TV blasting extra loud to where it's like we can't even hear ourselves talk. You know what I mean? No, I'm not going to be carrying conversation with the barber more than my client. The barber next to me more than my client. But these are all things that I learned from over the years, because like what you said before about the environment thing, like you are, correct me if I'm wrong, how you say it,
you are what your environment
you
is.
are, and I remember at one point, like my environment was like kind of like disrespectful to the client, being disrespectful. And then I learned from another barbershop, like, no, you engage with the client, take your headphones off, talk to your client, find out like what he likes and what he doesn't like, or what, even talk sport. Like sports sometimes could be like a common, like what you call, I don't lost for words, but a common factor, like where you both could talk, and come on a common ground. That's what I was about to say. You could come on a common ground, and that will create a conversation with y'all too. Nobody want to feel uncomfortable, especially coming to you for the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think I feel like in today's modern barbershop arena is kind of like, not all places, but the perception
Right.
of what you see is like, oh shoot, like it's really like on some, like the barber is like on some narcissistic, Michael Scott stuff. Like it's all
Right.
about, it's all about me. You know what I
That's
mean?
it. Yeah.
It's not about, I don't care about you. I don't care, here, get this haircut so I can get this money and you get out of here.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of that, it's so wrinkled up with, deception.
The deception is deception is bad, and they don't think about like what you're providing service.
Right.
They look at it. Some of the newer ones, it seems some of the older ones, but some of the new ones think that like you said, we owe them something, or the client got it. Like if you want them, they Hollywood level. Like,
right.
Well, if you was Hollywood level, you would be really like booked like that. Like you would be like the man. Like everybody. I heard
somebody say barbershop. The barbers are the new athlete.
Yeah. The new athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this guy thinks he's a diva.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like and they have that in their head. Mm-hmm. And like it's all good to like to what do you say? Make yourself feel like like you're doing good and you're strong and you uplifting yourself and stuff. Right. But man, it's getting to
self-confidence.
It's getting to a whole nother level now, right? Bro. Like don't
too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, I used to say this a lot. I used to be like, yo, saying I'm good, like when back in the day we'd be like, yo, I'm good. Not saying like, in the sense of like, hey, I'm good, but like if you try to give somebody some advice or something, like, I'm good. I feel like I'm good. That phrase is like the worst thing you can say.
It's the worst you can say.
It's the worst you can say. I'm good. No, you're not good. You know what I mean? Like and that's just today's generation. I wrestle with my son on that. You know what I mean? Like, because like the confidence is there. Yeah, it's there, but it's also leave room. There's always room to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's it. You got the drip and everything. I understand that. You know what I mean? But just leave some room so you could grow. You know what I mean?
That's important you say with that, the confidence, because like when we was like, I've watched guys at my older barbershops like cry and be like, I thought I was ready.
Right.
Some of them actually just quit and came back, like because they were discouraged, right?
Right.
These ones now, they protect the discouragedness. Like they don't want to ever see anybody sees like they feel some type of way about this. I think I had one of them that used to work with me, and we still talk. He's a good dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he felt like this is what I do. I don't want to make my client feel like I messed them up. He cared about them. Like, listen, next cut is free cut on me. I could do it right the next time. And you know what? Those people came back.
Right.
And he was able to redeem himself.
Right.
But a lot of these barbers today, I don't care.
Yeah. But do you think...
I don't care. They let them roll right out the door mad, put the bad review up for the shop. They don't...
See, that's the side B of it. That's the side B. Do you feel like it's a fine line, like between... Like, because of how the customers are. You like, let's keep it real. You got customers that are like, come in there with their stuff.
Of course.
And that whole theory of the customer is always right.
They ain't always right, but yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Business thinking is you take it that way first.
Right. Yeah, like do you think like it's a fine line with that, and maybe people are setting up a guard? You know what I mean? Like, yo, I know how people are. Like, people are stank sometimes, man. And they just like, come in the shop with their stuff. Like, I know my biggest thing, a peeve for me, is like parents that don't like this whole, like, I understand. I get it. Just in parentheses. Like, I get it. Like with the, your kid has the, explore and all that. But I'm like, and I don't know how you do at your house and everything, but like, yo, I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't have to say stuff to your parents about your kids roaming around and tearing up my shop and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, especially because I like pay for stuff up here. This is like, you know what I'm saying? So this is a portion of the, I'm not just like, I think the perception of people is like, hey, I'm just in here cutting for fun and I got all the money in the world. And I'm just like, no, like you can't, miss, can you, he got to sit down. I even got games and stuff for the kids, like to occupy them and stuff like that, just to, because keep their attention from trying to go into the back room and all this stuff, and and it is a type of guard set up, and it's like a little peeve for me. But most of my clients are kids, you know what I mean. But do you feel like, but at the same time, I'm like, it's a way how you address that stuff. You know what I mean? Where you're not trying to be offensive and, stuff like that. And I seen a change from how I do now from barbershops that I grew up in. It was like, and the barbers will talk to the kids like any type of way. Like, sit you down. You know what I mean? This and that. And if you do that these days, oh, no. You'll catch like all types of reviews and all that stuff. Yeah. So I try to be polite. I try to be respectful, and address the parents first. And like this one dude, his kid kept letting the shop door, like his kid kept playing with the shop door. Yeah, and I had to say something to him like, yeah, you might want to get your son because he's going to hurt himself. And he's like, oh, he's all right. He have to learn. And I'm like, ugh. I'm like, no, because if something happened, then that's going to come on, who knows? He may try to come at me, you know what I mean? Like, on some suing stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you do have to set a guard up for yourself, you know what I mean? But it's a way how you do it as well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. But I went all around the world on that, but I'm just like, do you feel like it's a fine line? Well, like, do you feel like today's barber is kind of like, because of how society is, because it's dark, and people just all over on some like, I don't give a crap. I don't care if it's your business, it's small business. I'm gonna come in there and act how I am. And do you think that barbers are like setting up a guard?
I think
like for themselves.
When it comes down to that, and I always say like this, I got big up to the salons.
Right.
The salons have created a culture in everybody's eyes that most of them, the majority of them, that they're professionalism first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And their owners set up strict, atmospheres.
Like signs and all that stuff.
Signs, whether it's the rules playing on the TV,
right,
or even the way they set their stages up. We learn this in education in comments. We're educators, and how we set the rooms up and stuff, and circle and oval, and the way the attention span is, and if it's long or elongated, and colors
absolutely.
That's in the room that
so
build
all
people's
that plays
eye
a part.
colors.
Not just getting the building, but how you format the building.
How you format the building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I go around and I see a lot of the other barbershops, right? These guys just throw chairs in. They just want to get the employees in. The owner just wants the money.
Yeah.
The barber feels that the owner just wants the money, so that's why he lets them do what they want to do. But they complain about structure, but because they don't have the structure, so it's like just imagine you're a cadet or somebody learning whatever. You know what I mean? You coming in there, and you like, yo, yo, Dak, this bathroom's a mess, bro. Like, this is not. But you know what? The rent is cheaper, so I'll be able to make more money in there. And he doesn't care what we doing.
Right.
He won't even fix his place up.
Right.
Because now he wouldn't even. They're not thinking of that in the beginning.
But when you just trying to get in there,
you just trying to get in.
Right.
So now all these other people that live that lifestyle,
right,
the ratchet ones, all the ones, they build this thing in there. Now, guess what they do? They go get another cheap one, another cheap one, another cheap, this, that. Now you outnumbered. You got like 20 barbershops or owners that don't care, right? And they're allowing these guys to do whatever they want, drink, smoke, do whatever they want in their barbershop. Right? After a while, the barbers have a problem because the barbers are built now. And when they get somebody that got some good money and they lose some money,
they're like, why they're not coming back?
Like, I think, I got this guy here, he's paying me $25 for the haircut. All those guys coming, I finally got a guy that would pay me $50 and he won't come to the shop no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want that guy. People start waking up, start learning, things start happening. Guess what they do? They quit. They go, no, what? I can't do this no more. There's fights in here. It's dangerous. You know what? I'm going to go to a nice shop.
Listen.
Right? So everybody else, hundreds of people that go to these cheap places because they don't want to pay that money.
Right.
They want to pay some cheap stuff. So all these other people go, guess what they do? They go out and they go, oh, man, well, those barbershops, these guys aren't real barbers. They're house cutters. They're just in a building.
That.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now everybody's looking at it like this is what barbering is.
That's what barbering is.
Right? Whose fault is it? Who's creating this culture?
Right.
The owners are. Right? Now, the real owners over there, they'll have their structure. So these guys come over to your shop and they go, I want structure. I love the atmosphere, clean. The prices is better. I can live off of this. I can grow the shop. Guess what they do?
Yeah.
They still have the dust and residue from the other shop over.
So they carrying that over.
They carrying over. Now they struggling with that new owner to do right.
And then sometimes that could become a cancer.
It could become a cancer.
And next thing you know, people are grabbing on like, yo, let me let my hair down. Yeah. I don't need to apply all this professionalism for what?
Yes. Then the customers come in and their customers bring the ratchet in with them. But the owner but the new owner, he not gonna do that. He gonna be like, he gonna stop his cut, walk over there, say, excuse me, take the kid, yo, can you take, because they need your mom. When they feel that, they like,
all right. Yeah,
it's done.
So last we gotta wrap it up, man. On the Barbers Union. So last, real quick, encouraging words, some last words. What would you give to the up and coming barber that's getting into the game?
Listen, up and coming barbers, work on your professionalism.
Work on your professionalism. That's number one.
That's number one.
And then everything will spiral off of that.
Everything come off of that.
You guys have just been tuned into the Barbers Union.
Be you.
You're the Barber Union. Be you, Barber you. Coming at you. Stay tuned for the next episode. Let's go.